Attention passionate San Francisco 49ers fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC West and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on San Francisco 49ers' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true San Francisco 49ers fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and San Francisco 49ers fans. Let's get to the news. Now, folks, if you've been paying attention to the NFL landscape lately, you've probably heard some whispers, some rumors swirling around the Tennessee Titans and the San Francisco 49ers. And let me tell you, these aren't just idle chatter. There's real substance behind these rumors, and they could have enormous consequences for both teams, especially for the Niners, who are always on the hunt for that extra piece to push them over the top. So what's the buzz? Well, it all revolves around a potential blockbuster trade that would see the Titans, who are currently 2-5 and struggling on offense, seeking to rebuild and reshape their roster, possibly by parting ways with one of their key offensive weapons, Calvin Ridley. Yes, Ridley, the 30-year-old wide receiver, who's proven to be an elite route runner with explosive after-the-catch ability, could be heading west. And why? Because the Titans, with a cap space of around $15 million, are focusing on a rebuild that emphasizes young quarterback development and bolstering their offensive line, which has been giving up too many sacks, up about 10% in 2025. They're also trying to extend players like DeAndre Hopkins, but Ridley's contract, set at around $18 million expiring soon, doesn't seem to fit their long-term plans if they're aiming for a rebuild. Some analysts believe that Ridley, with his ability to generate deep yards and explosive plays, could be a perfect fit for a team like the 49ers, especially considering their recent struggles at wide receiver after Brandon Ayuk's ACL injury in 2024. Since Ayuk's injury, the 49ers have been looking for that dynamic playmaker who can stretch the field, and Ridley fits that mold perfectly. His 2025 stats are eye-popping: 38 receptions for 612 yards, averaging 1 yards per catch and 3 yards per route run, according to PFF. He's also been highly efficient, with an EPA per target of plus 0.45, a YAC of 5.2 yards, and he's been targeted for 820 air yards, which ranks among the top 40 in the league. And even with a recent ankle injury that caused him to miss a game in Week 3, Ridley has shown resilience and elite ability to make contested catches, 58% contested catch rate, and his career stats reflect that same explosiveness. Over his career, he's accumulated more than 280 receiving yards and 36 touchdowns, with a PFF grade averaging around 85.2, and has been a consistent threat deep, with around 200 air yards and a separation average of 3.2 yards, which puts him in the top 10 in the league. He's a player who thrives on deep routes and slants, creating multiple explosive plays per game, around 1.5 on average, and generating a catch rate of about 82% in mismatched situations. Now let's zoom out a little and look at the bigger picture. The Titans, aiming for a rebuild, are prioritizing their draft picks and cap space. They're focusing on fixing their offensive line, which has allowed too many sacks, and they're trying to extend key players like Hopkins. Ridley's contract, which is set to expire, doesn't align with their long-term rebuild strategy, and some insiders believe they're open to trading him to free up space and draft capital. The Titans are also making defensive adjustments, allowing 4.8 yards per carry, and are prioritizing picks for edge rushers and cornerbacks. Some analysts, though, warn that trading Ridley might reduce their air yards significantly, potentially a drop of around 220 yards per game, but they're flexible, seeing it as a strategic move for the 2026 draft. They want to avoid the pitfalls of a quick rebuild like what the Titans did in 2024, which didn't produce immediate results, and instead aim for a more measured, long-term approach. So back to the 49ers. The potential acquisition of Ridley could be a game-changer. Imagine a deep threat like him complementing Brandon Ayuk's style, especially since Ayuk's ACL injury has made the team look for someone to stretch the field more consistently. Ridley's presence could boost the 49ers' passing game by a significant margin, adding around 250 to 310 yards per game in the air, based on projections. His stats compared to other receivers are impressive: For example, his yards per route run of 2.3 is way above the 1.6 of some other receivers, and his YAC of 5.2 yards creates additional opportunities after the catch. And when you look at the film, Ridley's ability to generate separation, especially on deep routes, is reminiscent of some of the best in the league. His PFF grade of 84.5 confirms his status as an elite route runner, capable of creating mismatches and forcing defenses to adjust their game plan. This move, if it happens, could truly elevate the 49ers' offensive ceiling. Picture a scenario where Ridley becomes Purdy's go-to target on explosive plays, adding around 200 yards per game through the air, and significantly reducing the number of turnovers caused by double coverage or tight coverage. His ability to generate explosive plays, 12 of them in 2025 of 20 yards or more, can turn a game around in a heartbeat. It's not just about the yards, it's about the impact on the offense's rhythm, the play-action efficiency, and the overall threat level. The 49ers' offense, which has been already potent with the likes of Samuel, could see a new dimension, more vertical, more explosive, more unpredictable. And it's not just about the offense. The addition of Ridley could have a ripple effect on the team's overall strategy. It could help reduce the over-reliance on Samuel targets, which have been over 24%, alleviating some pressure and allowing other receivers to get involved. It could also help reduce interceptions, something the team has been mindful of, by providing Purdy with a reliable, explosive target who can make tough catches in tight coverage. Plus, Ridley's ability to thrive in mismatches and generate mismatched plays aligns perfectly with the 49ers' play-action schemes, especially against zone coverage, where he can exploit soft spots and create big gains. Looking at the bigger picture, this trade could significantly improve the 49ers' chances of a deep playoff run, even making a serious push for Super Bowl LXI. According to some simulations, acquiring Ridley boosts their Super Bowl odds from plus 600 to plus 250. Pretty substantial, right? It makes them even more dangerous in the playoffs, especially when facing defenses that struggle against deep threats like the Rams' secondary, which allows about 8.3 yards per pass. Ridley's deep threat ability and YAC potential could be the X factor that pushes San Francisco over the edge, turning them into a true aerial juggernaut reminiscent of the 2022 Chiefs era, where the passing game was their primary weapon. Of course, this isn't just about adding a receiver. It's about reshaping the entire offensive identity of the 49ers. With Ridley on board, Purdy's efficiency could skyrocket, and the team could become more unpredictable, more explosive, and more capable of controlling the game through the air. The red zone would become even more lethal, with TDs increasing by around 20%, and the team's record could improve to something like 13-4, especially if key players like Bosa, who is currently out with a knee injury, find ways to contribute from the sidelines and return to full strength. Now, I know some fans might be wondering about the risks. Trading for a player like Ridley always carries some uncertainty, injury history, fit within the scheme, chemistry, and so on. But the upside is undeniable, especially given the current trajectory of the team. The 49ers have one of the best defenses in the league, and adding a weapon like Ridley could turn their offense into a true nightmare for opposing defenses. It could turn the NFC into an even more competitive conference, with the 49ers positioning themselves as a clear favorite. So, what does all this mean? Well, if the trade goes through, it cements the 49ers as one of the most dangerous offensive teams in the league, capable of scoring from anywhere on the field and elevating their Super Bowl odds significantly. It also signals a strategic shift, prioritizing explosive vertical plays and building around a core of talented receivers that can stretch defenses and create mismatches. The Titans, meanwhile, might be left with a rebuilding project, trying to find their footing and develop their young quarterback. But for the 49ers, this could be that final piece to turn their already formidable offense into an unstoppable force. And now, San Francisco 49ers fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential move? Do you think Ridley is the perfect fit to elevate the 49ers' offense and help them chase another Super Bowl? Or do you think there are risks involved that might outweigh the benefits? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion truly matters to us and to the team. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, more analysis, and the latest news surrounding the San Francisco 49ers. So make sure to stay tuned and keep that passion burning bright. The NFL season is heating up, and big things are on the horizon for the red and gold. Thanks for being part of this journey, and I'll see you in the next video.